Thanks.
Ahmed, let's perhaps start off with you on this end. I mean, we've got Egyptian trade really between South Africa showing quite a strong disparity. As I mentioned there in the intro, if you're looking at the 2010-2011 period, exports down 41% from South Africa to Egypt. But if you're looking at imports from Egypt to South Africa, up 13%. So why that disparity that we're facing right now?
Yes. Back in 2008, we have seen Egypt exporting petrochemicals and petroleum products to South Africa. But this was only for that 1 year only, 2008. And then we have come down to the normal, if we can say that, the normal items and the trade between the two countries. That's why it's, of course, very low beyond our expectations, very low beyond the potentials that both economies have. And we should really, both South Africa and Egypt, we should do much more efforts trying to explore the opportunities. And I'm sure there are opportunities. And I'm sure there is also a political will on both sides that we should push ahead and push forward the trade volume numbers.
Yeah, well, we've got Ahmed here being highlighted the potential that possibly exists. What potential are we looking at, and what targets have been set in actually upping these trade ties moving forward?
Actually, I'm talking here about the chemical and fertilizer product here, and I could give you a figure. We export to South Africa around 14 million US dollar. And it is, as Mr. Ahmed was saying, it not meet with the potential with the two countries. But I think that's why we are here in this trade mission. So if we did a lot of trade mission between the two countries, I think this number will be doubled.
Yep, doubling on that front.
Yes.
Overall, what kind of targets have been set?
Yes, we are talking about unexplored fields in both economies of the two countries. For example, in Egypt, I can still talk about textiles. We have really a very promising textile sector in Egypt that can really double its exports. Now textile exports from Egypt to South Africa, I think it's very minimal. So we can do something in this field. We can do something about medicine. We can do something about also vegetables and fruits. We are living in two different geographical areas, so we have rotating seasons, geographical seasons. So we can really make use of that. So we can export you our summer, for example, products, agriculture products. Recently, we had the joint agriculture committee between the two countries have held a meeting in Pretoria in October, and they have been really exchange views on how to move forward in order to increase exports among the two countries in this in the agriculture field.
That's important to say, amongst the two countries, because we're talking about exports from Egypt. What about exports from South Africa to Egypt? What potential are we looking at there? Because that's exactly where we're seeming to be failing dismally at this stage.
Yes, of course. I think in machineries, in manufactured products, you are really having an edge in some of these, and we can sure make use of that as two prominent economies in the African continent. I think the issue is that we should know each other more. We should increase the marketing missions as the one we are having now. We should establish also a business council that to have established a prolonged or well-established links amongst the businessmen between the two countries. President Zuma, when he visited Egypt in October 2010, it was a landmark visit. He was accompanied by 120 of businessmen of South Africa. But we should really pushing the momentum and continue to do that in a more basis.
To leverage off the opportunity, you've got to be cognizant of the challenges as well. What are some of the challenges that have been put on the table in your interactions when it comes to trade with South Africa, Ahmed?
Challenges?
Absolutely.
Yeah. South Africa is a huge country, and there is a really very big challenges here. But if we could study the market well and know where is our potential well, we could penetrate it. You know, or South Africa is an industrial country, so we can provide you with raw material for these industries. You know, we have here with us like 9 companies representing some factories could provide South African market with raw material for paints, and also for detergent, and also for fertilizers. So how we can cooperate? To know the market well, to know the need of the market well, to know the gap between demand and supply, to know which product exactly I can provide the market with.
Yeah, it's all about gaining that knowledge about the markets you're operating in. What about this Cape to Cairo free trade agreement? Because that was something that was embarked on last year, and many had been saying at that point that it could help reduce the dependence on flagging European economies. How's that been faring?
Yes, it's of course integration, economic integration amongst the African countries is very important, and so that we reduce the dependency on the other foreign markets like the European markets. And also this has been kicked off. It has seen a boost recently in June 2012 when South Africa hosted for the first time the meeting in order to launch the so-called free trade area amongst the 3 biggest economic communities in Africa, COMESA, SADC, EAC, and our Prime Minister was here and he attended this, and this has showed how Egypt is really attaching importance in order for this issue, for this free trade area to be finalized. And as long as I know, there would be a series of negotiation rounds that will start. The first of them will be in Kenya in order to finalize this free trade area amongst the 3 biggest economic communities in Africa.
How much of a hurdle is it that we've got 3 economic trade blocs that are operating currently that kind of dominate things? You know, you've got SADC, you've got COMESA, you've got the EAC, you've got the West African side of things as well. And, you know, we've heard time and time again that sometimes clouds the picture, clouds the kind of, or hinders the kind of progress we could see between African inter-regional trade.
Yes, the view of the African Union is that those regional economic communities should be the building blocks on our way, on our path, in order to achieve the whole Africa free trade. They say that this is the rational way of thinking, or the step-by-step way of thinking, is that we cement the relation amongst the regional economic communities, and then we can have the whole Africa incorporated into one free trade huge zone.
Of course, when it comes to the kind of opportunity that this could then further spur on, we've got FDI really in the spotlight, Ahmed, because the continent at the moment receives a relatively small pie of that global foreign direct investment pie, in part because small markets cannot attract the money that it should. So to what extent do you see these relationships starting to tip the scales in that regard and influencing foreign direct investment flow?
You know, unfortunately, we have very few Egyptian investment here in South Africa. Most of them, or all of them, are individually, and we have some South African investment in Egypt. It reached about $15 million in Egypt in some sectors like oil services or tourism. But the opportunity to invest in South Africa, that's what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. You know, it depends. It depends on... let me speak also again about the council. I have like 500 members in the council. All of them are manufacturers. All of them are exporters. And the most important thing that they are all businessmen looking for an opportunity to invest. If they could find an opportunity to invest...
Why is it so hard?
Is it so hard? Because there is no, you know,
lack of knowledge. Maybe.
Yeah,
lack of knowledge is very important.
And facility given by the government. You know, I came here from Ethiopia. There is a lot of facilities there in Ethiopia. I think there is 2 huge investors got like 2 million square meter to be like an industrial area, an Egyptian industrial area in Ethiopia. If we can find here land on good prices or energy in good prices, I think our members will not hesitate to take this chance.
There we've got Ahmed highlighting direct investment when it comes to investment from Egypt, investment from South Africa.
Yes.
Abroad, globally, how do you see this tipping the scales in foreign direct investment, where you've got a region that's cooperating and so foreign direct investments able to tap into a regional entity?
Yes, I mean, Africa is full of potentials again, but we need really to take steps further in order to improve the environment of investment, in order to really convince the foreign investors in order to come to Africa. Africa is full of opportunities, but we, on the side of economic policies, we need some amendments, we need some developments.